I will be talking about why I still recommend making your own MUGEN rosters, despite me being the one to share so many of mine, and normalizing large MUGEN rosters to be created within the community. Before we continue any further, if you are confused as to why I am using an AI voice, please check out the video in my description where I explain why I will no longer be using my voice in future videos. Other than that, if you don't mind or you're annoyed, you're free to skip this video, mute it, and use captions, or put it in the background. Other than that, I want you all to be comfortable and understanding. Let's continue. So believe it or not, my vision was to normalize and encourage people to make their own rosters and share them if need to be, and normalize the sharing of collections, including really large ones. Especially since not many people was doing that back then when I was growing up. But remember, just because I will state all the reasons in this video, it is not to discourage you from downloading full games/MUGEN collections, but rather this aims for the people who always want a specific set of characters in a MUGEN, but can't find one, wants to explore creating their own rosters, or want a good retrospective from someone who has major experience with MUGEN collections on why they should create their own, then this is for you. For after all, I already feel like I've accomplished doing, which is why now I aim to be a MUGEN all-rounder, and do more than MUGEN collections, in which I know and am aware that I am known for that. But despite this, no matter what, I always believed in the infinite and endless possibilities MUGEN has. Therefore, that's why I encourage people to utilize them in this way. Therefore, enough said. Let's get to reason 1. Reason 1. You can update your MUGEN rosters/collections. Since new MUGEN characters are being found or created or edited every day, you can update your roster with them rather than a pre-existing one. For example, MUGEN Matrix Museum. The largest 18K character MUGEN collection that people swore once they get it, they never have to get a MUGEN again. But when I made that MUGEN, it was to not only be the first to release a MUGEN that huge, but for people to enjoy it for the time and of course archive it, and to prove my title of being the MUGEN tribal chief. Think of it as prime WWE that was in the 2000s. Therefore, that's why I always tell people to not heavily rely on getting it too much, or at least explore latest rosters. For rosters like that get outdated quickly, and my latest MUGEN is 16K characters up to date, and in 1.1b. So, if you want a MUGEN that is up to date, it is best to make your own that is up to date, for MUGENs are updated all the time, or fine up to date ones especially, if you don't want to miss out on newer creations. Next reason. Reason 2. You don't have to worry about them disappearing or being lost. Believe it or not, there is such thing as lost MUGEN collections/full games, for example, which is why I am a firm believer in why preservation is important. But unfortunately, I am aware and see how maybe years down the line my creations, except maybe the character ones, might not be around for long. Which is what makes personal MUGEN collections worth a lot more down the line. Because after all, it is your creation. You can back up and access at any time, while for me, I sometimes cannot guarantee the longevity of my own MUGEN collections. For these services I use require you keep paying for them, and if you don't pay for them for 2+ years, they are basically gone. Luckily, there are people like MUGEN Games, aka Jugus Games, that has archived some of my MUGENs, but I wouldn't say all. So this is a good reason to keep in mind, indeed, for we will go on to the next reason. Reason 3. It's personalized for you. Believe it or not, there are people to this day that are trying to find MUGEN rosters with specific characters and more, but can't find them. That's where making your own collection comes in. Another reason why it's worth making your own collection, because believe it or not, while most rosters on this channel is community voted, they are still personalized to my liking, or what I think can be a liking to few people. Either way, they are all personalized, and they may not have the amount or specific characters that you may not be looking for, and the same applies for some full games in general. So, when you personalize your own MUGEN, and not be lazy, no shade, and you create your own collection, you'll feel more satisfied since you know where everything is, and you have everything you may not see in public collections available online. Now that I made that pretty clear, let's move on to the next and last reason. Reason 4. You are more in control and aware of what can happen with your collection. Now this may not make sense, but I'll explain. For example, when it comes to my MUGENs, people run into the common issue of not having enough space, or not having enough RAM, or even having issues downloading it. But with your own MUGEN, you're aware of the flaws it may or may not have. And since it's made within your device, you have no issues or no problems running it, or you do, but you manage it well. That is what makes it the most best part of having your own collection. You are in control. Nothing unpredictable will happen because you know what you put in or out of it. While, with other people's collections, you may experience things you might not like or can't even fix. Therefore, that's what makes them more worth it. Other than that, hope this explains everything and that you all enjoy. Thank you.